but he's not doing the window stuff. It's actually his girlfriend
That's
who no
not
one can
true.
see. He's helping, but it's not.
He ends up being the one that's completely doing it.
At this point, though, it's not. At this point, it's
Fine.
all Emmy. So it's basically Ratatouille. And we
just
get,
want to say that.
we get a successful, yes, we get like this store is really successful montage. Everything's going great.
Except for he every day needs to go into the women's bathroom and definitely do hand stuff with that mannequin.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Hey, hello, this is Load Bearing Beams. I'm Matt Stokes.
And I'm Laci Roth.
Laci, it's nice. I feel like it's been a while since we've talked about a bug nuts, fucking demented, crazy
nuts?
movie
What?
like today's film we're going to be talking about.
You're out of your mind.
Which is what?
Mannequin from 1987.
I'm wrong. It's not a ridiculously weird and crazy movie.
Completely rational 80s montage of pleasure. Thank you. But it is the movie Mannequin from 1987.
That's right.
A fucking classic
Okay.
that no one's ever watched.
But
except for
hey.
all the people that did.
Today, covering Mannequin. Next week, though, we have a little something special planned. What is it?
Very similar to Mannequin.
Mm-hmm.
It is the butterfly effect. Okay, it's not at all similar. And it is, we're very excited because this is our first Film Talk guest who will be coming on. His page is called Cinematic Joshua, and he gives film reviews and he does funny, creative things with these reviews to make them interesting. He does TV, music, other things too, but I mainly know him for his movie opinions, and he selected the butterfly effect. And one of my favorite insects. So
I'm excited. I've been sort of eyeing this movie recently just to watch for fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited to talk about it and to get into it. I love the Final Destination movies, and the people who made Butterfly Effect were very involved in the Final Destination movies. I will watch any shitty movie about time travel. Not saying I know that this is
a
shitty.
time travel movie?
Yeah, because he travels back in time.
Don't
it's all
tell
about.
me.
You didn't know that basic premise?
I saw it in the theaters, which was like 2018.
2004.
I was trying to say 20 years ago, and then I stopped myself and I said other things that were wrong. So 2004. Okay, so 2 years out of the high school. Yeah. I have no business remembering anything from this movie. I just remember it's like a sliding doors type movie.
But that's not a hidden plot detail. That's like in the trailer.
I don't feel like you're spoiling. I just didn't know if you were going to keep going and then ruin my life.
Yes, I was going to ruin your life.
I felt it. And I just wanted you to convert. I wanted you to go the other path. You know, much like maybe this movie shows us.
Well, the Ashton Kutcher of it all makes me a little suspicious. But
But he feels like he needed to be interjected into this time. It was his time, Matt. Let him be there. Look how serious he is in this poster.
Look at that eye.
He looks like Edward.
So the Butterfly Effect, available for rental. I don't see it streaming for free anywhere, but it's on PVOD if you're in the United States at least.
Okay.
So
That's helpful that you do that, Matt.
But yeah, so tell me, I mean,
Look at
explain
these guys.
yourself. Why are we talking about Mannequin?
I can't even believe you could watch that whole thing and not know why this would have been a movie that just stuck with me. It is a complete pick-me-up. Anyway, let's not get too into it. My history with this movie is that this would have been one of my go-tos during the summer when I would stay at Miss Barbara's house, which I've mentioned her before. She was
this
the
becoming
first
a major figure
person I
on our
knew that
show.
had a massive physical media collection, and it was just so. I didn't know that was an option, and I think that's what inspired my collecting, and it ruined me for the rest of my life. Anyway, so this movie has a lot of things that I like about it. It has a flamboyant character that's very funny and who's a sweetheart the whole time. Most people are sweethearts. A beautiful, loving couple who just can't get enough of each other, and tons of wardrobe changes. Count me in.
You like that?
A montage in a mall. Well, it's not a mall, but it's mall enough. It's the biggest department store I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah, it's mall enough.
It's
So, but how long had it been since you'd seen it?
truly had zero memory of it except for Hollywood, Montrose. And I didn't know his last name until yesterday, and now I will never forget it. So yeah, but I would say under 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So do the math, because I'm not gonna do any math.
So it's been a while. Yeah, I you said this, oh, let's talk about Mannequin, and I was like, what? Didn't know. I don't. It's rare that I have never heard of a movie.
Right.
I mean, people know this movie. I see by going on Letterboxd. Normal people are aware of this movie, but I wasn't. So we'll see what I thought about it.
Well,
we will. But
take me there.
you know what we do on this show is we make pre-movie prognostications. How are we going to feel? And we record them ahead of time so you know that they're authentic.
And Matt makes me film them in the kitchen so that it sounds weird.
Yeah, you started
Not
doing
film.
it near me, and I said, no, get out of here.
I want it to sound weird. Go in a different room. I think the movie will be funny. I'm worried it might be cheesy. I remember laughing a lot. I remember liking being in a mall and possibly being in a mall when no one else is in a mall. And I remember that this is where I got my love for the Starship song. Put your hand in my hand, baby, don't ever look back. So glad you included that one. You're welcome. I think I'll like it fine. I truly have no idea if it's good. That's fair. I couldn't remember one quote. One
Oh, and there's so many too.
You're absolutely right. I mean,
Jonathan.
There aren't quotes. Like, it's not funny like that. It's slapstick. It's camp. It's fucking over the top crazy pants. Crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to say crazy pants.
Here's my prediction.
Dumb. Okay.
What's up, guys? Mannequin Matt Stokes here. We are about to head over to the Lakeside Shopping Center in Metairie, Louisiana to do a little preparation, get a lay of the land of malls and department stores, because I know that's what the movie Mannequin is all about. Figured I'd give you my prediction for this movie Mannequin before I hop in the car. I have no idea what to expect about this movie. There's so little information about it. I don't know. I have no idea. I know I don't like Andrew McCarthy. I think he sucks. I don't know. Is it like a Splash type movie where you just like fantasy woman and her kind of kooky ways change this man for the better? Maybe he's too career obsessed. I don't know. This movie doesn't have a good reputation, but I'm liking the names I'm seeing in the supporting cast, so maybe it'll be a good time. We'll see. All right, gonna get. Oh, hey, Laci's already in the car. Good. Oh, she's not moving. So I don't know what was happening there, but
brilliant.
Yeah, I did not quite get it right with what the plot of the movie is.
That's okay. It was close.
I mean, I guess I thought, is this going to be like Splash? But I guess it wasn't. I don't really remember Splash.
I don't either.
I just feel like fantasy woman kind of plucked out of the fantasy realm and now has to live in New York City. And what's that going to be like? I know in this movie it's Philadelphia, but
close enough.
But the thing about this movie is there's so little information about it online. There's no oral history. Like almost every movie you pick has like the cast of whatever looks back 25 years later. Nothing like that. There's no interviews with the director, Michael Gottlieb. Yeah. So we're going to talk about the history of Mannequin, the making of a Mannequin, but the information's a little sparse.
Oh no, I'm prepared.
So the only like extra feature on the Blu-ray is the trailer. So that wasn't helpful. If you look up Michael Gottlieb, everything about him is just from his obituary from 2014. And then it's basically like, it's just a reprint from the press release put out by the college that employed him at the time.
It's like they tried to erase. It's like it was a blip on everybody's career and no one felt like speaking about it, which is insane. It looked like it was really fun to make.
In the case of Gottlieb, it was the only good thing that happened in his feature film career. It was the only hit. Now, it wasn't very long.
Was it a hit?
It was a hit. It was a big hit.
Oh, wow.
So, Michael Gottlieb, yes?
It's interesting. This director died the same year that Meshach Taylor died. Hollywood, Montrose. They both died the same year, 2014.
Makes you ask some questions, maybe.
No, one was cancer, so.
Well,
wasn't a hit.
So not like an Egyptian sort of, okay.
A curse, right? No, not like a mummy.
So this guy, yes, he started as a fashion photographer, which, makes sense in this movie.
Oh.
And then he moved into commercial directing. He directed commercials for McDonald's and Coca-Cola and Xerox. And then Mannequin was his feature film debut. It was 1987. He wrote it and he directed it, though he did not direct the sequel. But this was his first film. He only directed 4 total movies. This was the only hit. After Mannequin, he made a movie called The Shrimp on the Barbie.
Which I'd never heard
starring
of.
Cheech Marin, which he directed under a pseudonym.
But isn't that the actress that plays Roxy in this movie there?
Is it? Let me look it up.
Wait, I have it right here. It is not. Move on. But I was doing a little research myself, and there's someone that's also in this but I do not know these actors except for Cheech.
So yes, he was credited as Alan Smithy on Shrimp on the Barbie. And then he made Mr. Nanny, the Hulk Hogan vehicle.
Which I've, of course, seen.
Yeah, I think I have too.
Kid in King Arthur's Court, I've definitely seen that.
He made a Kid in King Arthur's Court, which was also a big bomb. These were all bombs. Huh. The only thing I feel like Kid in King Arthur's Court is remembered for is Daniel Craig and Kate Winslet are in it, as very young people.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like probably 27, but still a very early role for both of them. Michael Gottlieb transitioned into producing video games where he had a lot of success. He made Mortal Kombat 4, or he produced. I don't know enough about video games to tell you what role the producer of a video game plays. And then he taught screenwriting at the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, and he died in 2014 at the age of 69 in a motorcycle accident.
Oh.
So, but I feel like, and looking into the history of this movie, its biggest legacy appears to be its sort of pioneering use of market research.
Okay.
So let me introduce you to Joseph Farrell. He was an executive producer on Mannequin. He was called in his obituary the founding father of Hollywood focus groups.
What an honor.
So Satan, in other words.
Right.
Okay. He founded a firm called Market Research Group in 1978. And the way he started was he would like interview families outside the movie theater and like give them free ice cream. Like, what'd you think of the picture? And then he'd write it down.
That's how they would answer because of all the ice cream.
And, you know, the classic model of the Hollywood executive is you read a script, you meet a director or a producer, and you go with your gut. And, you know, this one feels good. I've got a good feeling about this. It's a very non-logical business, and Mr. Farrell wanted to bring some data, some rigorous data to it.
I mean, you can trace a line from this man all the way to now, these companies that it's just AI that you just plug in and you swap one actor out for another and get a thing that shoots out the other side of like, would this be more successful or not? Until you plug, it makes my stomach hurt. How boring. They're going to average us to death.
No, I would kill for this to come back, for sort of the data-driven executives to come back.
But the data-driven thing is this is its natural conclusion.
Yes. Yeah. And I know people will say like, what are these fucking executives? Why do we even need them? Just a computer could do it, could make the decision to greenlight something or not. And it's like, that's true. But that's bad. I mean, cause like the thing about all of this is it's not logical. You can't actually, okay. So it's bad for art. Yes. Mm-hmm. When you're making a creative product, you should not be driven by
a consensus, but yeah, right. There's no art by committee.
And by like, well, I don't know, the audience isn't responding, or this specific theater in Peoria isn't responding so well to this, so maybe we'll change that scene. But if you just put that aside, I don't even know how well you actually can predict what is going to be a hit and what is not going to be a hit based on what people say in surveys and focus groups and turning a knob when they feel happy. And
right, because you're also not taking into consideration how much do they feel indebted to you from this free ice cream. How many people pleasers are you asking? How many kids are walking out of the theater and haven't hit that stage where they have real opinions about things? It was great.
Yeah, this nice man gave me a hot dog.
Well, just like you said, you remember thinking lots of shit movies were great just because you got to go to the movies that day. Mm-hmm. It's just not very scientific, and I don't want it to be more scientific or that.
Well, it's the Simpson scene of the focus group where they use to create Poochie is just the best distillation. The kids are like, we want characters who are totally down to earth and relatable, and also they should be robots and have lots of firepower and totally out of control and crazy. But it's just funny, you know, in sports, this is very parallel to analytics coming into sports, where I feel the exact opposite way, where saying like the baseball scout who's like, well, I met this young man and he had a firm handshake and his girlfriend's attractive, so he's going to be a star. That's like the worst thing you can say. And I don't like it in sports, but you know, movies are different. Anyway, Joseph Farrell, he basically standardized market research and standardized the way you do it. And like when he died, everybody said like, we all use the stuff he pioneered. And Mannequin was a very early example of a movie sort of at the script stage being driven by his data, his analysis.
So when does he come into it though? Like when there's still time to rewrite, when there's time to recut?
Good question. I don't know when he...
Or it's just like, hey, everybody look out. This one's a bomb. Okay, I told you a week before you were going to find out anyway.
No, because you have test screenings where you still have time to do reshoots and stuff. I don't know if he actually was involved at the scripting stage, but this movie, you feel it in this movie. Like
I guess I just wonder when is it, if he developed the system, what is it? Like what? I just don't know.
I don't know. It could be like, here are 500 questions to ask, or
yeah, and then what?
And then you do reshoots, or then you rewrite the script. I don't know what stage.
Right. Like I get it with animation. You've got enough screen boards and things you can show, but yeah, it's just maybe they make a tiny movie pilot. Just seems expensive to bring him in and go, should we completely throw this away now?
Well, you maybe get a reshoot budget. Like we'll give you $5 million and you have to decide how to divvy up the $5 million. What is worth reshooting? Can we get this actor back? Did
we get this comment enough? Mm-hmm.
Yes. But I feel like, this guy's like the waiter with the toupee falling in the soup. That's worth $9 million right there. Like I just felt it watching the movie.
I did feel like they put every gag, campy, pull my finger, but it felt self-aware. It felt like it was over the top on purpose. Like, but I guess it was just like, that's a laugh, isn't it,
It's very
folks?
broad. I mean, and any gag, any like side gag, they really linger on it for a while. Like the Hollywood's license plate, like they stay on that for like 10 seconds. Like, you read it? You read the whole thing? Okay. You sure? Everybody back in the back. The big example everyone points to for what this guy did is his research showed that in Fatal Attraction, which had a more ambiguous ending that involves Glenn Close like artfully killing herself. Instead, they changed it so that Michael Douglas's wife shoots her to death. And it is, when you watch it, it is like exciting. You're like, hell yeah. But they're like, that decision is why this movie made $300 million as opposed to, I don't know.
They'd never know.
No, I know you never know, but.
Interesting also, someone in the wrong choosing to end their own life as well. I don't know. I don't remember the movie, but it does turn the movie into like something that can be a crowd pleaser. And this is a very bleak and depressing movie, but you end it that way and suddenly you're like, yeah, I can feel good about life and families again. So and gun ownership.
I guess that's the legacy of Mannequin. It was a hit. They made a sequel. Mannequin 2.
Which is it's very different except for Hollywood. Hollywood's in it.
The only person who returned was Meshach Taylor, who played Hollywood. Also, the guy who plays the janitor from the end of the movie is in it. But according to the Wikipedia, it's unclear if he's playing the same character, which I love. You can't tell from the movie.
And I knew him in a very similar role, and he's in the Police Academy movies, right?
I've never seen him.
That's what I knew he was very familiar. He plays a jerk.
Kim Cattrall as well.
Also in Police Academy?
Yeah. I like that, and this is just based on my reading the Wikipedia summary of Mannequin 2, is it takes place in the same department store. None of the old characters are back except for Hollywood. And apparently he has like one brief line where he's like, a mannequin came to life before and now it's happening again. But that's it. That's the only acknowledgement that.
What is the catalyst for it happening in this?
I don't know.
That's the most forgettable part of all of this. I don't need all... I mean, there are some weak moments, I guess, but what were we, 10 minutes in to or do I wait for tomorrow? Do I wait for when we go through scene by scene before I divulge?
Yeah, we'll get
my
into
freak
that.
out. Okay.
Your freak out. Stay tuned for Laci's freak out.
I really flipped.
All right, let's talk about Andrew McCarthy. He plays Jonathan.
I love him.
Here's 20.
I'm in love with Andrew McCarthy.
Okay.
Look at him.
What?
Look at that sweetheart. I love his whole shit.
Fine. This is my question. Well, okay, wait. Let's talk about Andrew McCarthy. He was 24 years old when he made Mannequin. He was a member of the Brat Pack, as we've discussed many times on Load Bearing Beams.
Yes, we have.
The Brat Pack is something that missed me completely. I hadn't seen any of these movies. And when we discussed Weekend at Bernie's a few years ago, that was my first exposure to Mr. McCarthy. And I said, who the hell is this guy? Who is this Zero? And you're like, that's Andrew McCarthy.
He's good in everything he's in.
So he made his film debut in a movie called Class, 1983. Also the film debut of John Cusack and Virginia Madsen. Have you seen Class?
I have not. This looks like Rob Lowe as well. Is that
Rob Lowe, yes. And then he was in a movie called The Binnaker Gang.
Never heard of it.
This surprises me.
Like a nightmare cartoon.
And then a movie
thing.
called Helvin Help Us. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it, but I'm sure I've seen it. Actually, I'm sure I've seen it. Yeah, the guy in the middle looks really familiar, but it didn't stick.
All right. Well, I'd never seen San Elmo's Fire 1985.
Sorry,
I did watch.
I just please explain that you're showing pictures of him from every movie that I love, and I'm quivering. Okay, continue. Quivering.
And I saw Less Than Zero a few years ago, and he's just brings absolutely nothing to that. He's with Robert Downey Jr. and James Spader, and just
well, that's not fair.
Okay, okay. I watched Pretty in Pink over the weekend because I know that's his big movie. I'm like, maybe I'll get it here.
I don't like him there. I mean, he's fine. He's fine, but I don't think he's any.
This guy.
He doesn't Andrew McCarthy it up in that movie.
What does that mean? He's nothing.
Weekend at Bernie's. He's so funny.
The other guy's so much funnier than him.
No, this is the one you liked.
No, this guy.
Go back and listen to that episode. This is the guy that was the bad friend, the one that wanted to do it. He's the one that eggs it on the whole time. The other one is the shriveling asshole that's like, I don't think we need to call the cops. Ooh, look, boobs. Like, yes, go back and listen to that episode. When he gets to be a heel,
I can't be held accountable for what I said a few years ago. You know, that I can see that.
You don't like him as a love interest. That's fine. He's great as a heel.
Because I feel like he has no screen presence, nothing appealing about him at all.
He's so sensual.
So I watched Pretty in Pink because I'm like, well, that's got to be the movie. And like, he's fine in that. He's the 9th best performance in Pretty in Pink. Wait, can we talk about Pretty in Pink?
Please.
You've seen it, right?
I've seen it. Mm-hmm.
I had never seen it. It's a pretty good movie.
Thank you.
Hey, here was my takeaway. Molly Ringwald's good.
No fucking shit.
No, she's.
Don't you think that from The Breakfast Club as well, though? Yeah,
but that was a long time ago. I think I was much more captivated by her in this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but it's got that sort of John Hughes like sentences people say that are like very good, but they also take you out of it because you're like, no idiot teenager would say that.
Right.
And McCarthy is good because he's playing just a dead-eyed, mouth-breathing teenager who looks pretty. But he's like a system quarterback in that movie. He's like, okay, Brock, throw it 9 yards that way. And just be really careful. Okay, go, throw. You did it, great. But like, don't take any chances. Don't take any risks or we're going to lose the game.
That's why he's better in comedies. Pretty in Pink is a romantic
He
comedy.
Fucking sucks in Mannequin. If you swapped out James Spader, he's right there. Swap them out. Okay, you've got
James
a movie.
Spader is awesome, actually. But
you need a fucking weirdo playing this role. And this guy is just the most, Jiminy Jillikers. I love art and playing the piano. No, you don't, you liar. You don't do anything. You sit at home and stare ahead with nothing on TV.
Oh, you're hurting me. Okay, fine. I mean, I don't agree with you.
Annie Potts also very good in Pretty in Pink.
Annie Potts is very good.
And Harry Dean Stanton. Oh, it was so good.
Ducky?
No, I'm the guy who plays her dad.
Oh, yeah. God,
he's very sweet. Though I will say this. And I would never say this about a fictional character. So, and I'm not like a fan of like the intelligence agencies or like the military industrial complex.
You're not. Let me say he's not.
But like SEAL Team 6 needs to do something about Ducky.
What the fuck?
He needs to be taken out. He needs to be erased from the timeline.
What the fuck?
This guy, he's a war crime of a person. And I know he's not a real person.
The Otis Redding scene. Try a little tenderness. breaks my heart. All right, fine. I'm sure if I rewatched it, it's been years.
And
I'm sure he's that like abusive, stalkerish. You know me, we're friends, so why don't we fuck guy?
It is that, but that's not what I'm talking about.
What
He's
are you
just so
talking
annoying. I just want to kick him in the dick.
He looks so cool.
Just go away. Shut up with your antics and your singing and your jokes. I don't need them. Get out.
He's Ferris Bueller. If Ferris Bueller were interesting.
Yeah. You know who I'd kick in the dick?
Right.
Ferris Bueller.
A lot of dick kicks here.
I watched Ferris Bueller like in the past few months too, and I have like a lot of thoughts about that. But we'll table
It's got to
them.
be someone's movie because it's not mine and it's not yours. But
I could stretch it and say it was mine.
what like a nope like that? You have to go on the YouTube video to see what he just did. Wow.
It's the
Stretched
most.
his penis from here to the kitchen.
It's the take is like this movie. He's the villain of the movie. It's the boring take.
Of Pretty in Pink.
Of Ferris Bueller, yeah.
Yes. What?
That Ferris Bueller himself is the villain of this movie and makes everybody around him worse.
Okay, but I thought we discussed at a different time that it's actually the best friend who is the villain. He's the big fucking bummer.
Did we say that?
Yeah.
That's also interesting. But no,
There are no good guys. The sister. That is it. No.
That's true. Yeah, she's the one that comes across most sympathetic. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Cameron is annoying, but you
Makes
watch it.
everything about him.
He has an abusive best friend that he can't
That's true.
get out of who he can't get out of his way, and then the
abusive
girlfriend
dad.
as well. Yeah, so he just latched onto another abuser, but I was like, this movie's about Donald Trump. That's what I thought when I was watching it.
Okay, I have to watch this.
It's like
with
he's
you.
making Principal Jeffrey Jones like he's like breaking the law and going into people's houses because he's like, it doesn't matter. I just have to get him. I just have to get him. Yeah.
All right.
So.
Shit.
And then one more note about Pretty in Pink.
Okay.
You know the scene where Andrew McCarthy takes Molly Ringwald to the party?
Yeah.
You remember this scene and how uncomfortable it is?
Yeah.
It was like, this is from Taxi Driver. This is Robert De Niro taking Sybil Shepherd on a date to the porno theater. What are you doing?
Right. Like,
why are you doing this?
Why would this be where I want to go?
The second you see it, you're like, no. So that's Andrew McCarthy. Yeah. He
Look at him.
After he stopped being a little, a fantasy for like 8-year-old girls. By the way, the market research said, we'll put this guy in our movie. I know you don't think he's a star, but he has a fan base.
Of course he does. Anyone in the Brat Pack did, but there's just something, he's just unruined by any of the Brat Pack movies. He was allowed to stay a sweetheart in every single one of them. And he makes girls go, ah, like, cause he's the ultimate safe choice. And there's something really fucking comfortable in that. There just wasn't, people don't get to do that. And you're in enough movies, you gotta switch it around. He never did.
Which is what, that is why he works in Pretty in Pink as the ultimate safe choice. This guy isn't going to challenge you or say anything weird or interesting.
And he falls in love hard.
Yeah. And I did like about that movie that it really presents, like when you're a teenager, you have big giant emotions and swings and stuff, but you don't have the emotional intelligence to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so these characters don't talk to each other and don't explain things like, here's why I'm not taking you to the prom. They just
Right.
kind of like grunt at each other.
Right.
And I thought it was
Well observed.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Don't you find the way he's in love with Kim Cattrall in this movie, like, you don't see those moments? Like, he's in pure awe of her, but she loves him just as much back. Just the sincerity of it all, without it being like makes you want to throw up. This movie does it a million times, and it's just like, oh my God, are these actual people really in love? Because I feel like I'm staring at it.
No, I did not feel that.
And our kid felt it the whole, like every time a moment like that would happen, our kid would go, like just start slapping my leg and go,
no, I did not pick up on the
Look at these guys.
Because it's this movie is working on it's trying to work on like a fairy tale level or like a fable level. These aren't real people.
Yes, and even in fairy tales, I don't see real love. I see people who just met each other,
That's what
who
I'm
just
saying.
think each other are hot. But this movie takes the time to show you that they have the same sense of humor. They like to talk about the same stuff. He is inspired by her. She loves his art. He loves her art. Like there's a real give and take.
I know that's happening in the movie. I don't feel it from him. I feel it from her when Kim Cattrall shows up. Like, oh, this movie has a little life in it finally. But no, this guy is a negative. This guy sucks life out.
You're saying we get all the life from the
film.
mannequin?
Yeah, ironically.
Okay, well, what about Hollywood?
Oh yeah, no.
He's amazing.
This movie's stacked supporting cast.
That doesn't mean you like them in the roles. So I'm asking. How do you
good
feel
point.
about?
Yes, everyone. Virtually everyone. I loved Estelle Getty.
I did too.
I wouldn't say I loved. I liked Estelle Getty. I liked James Spader. I liked all the weird villainous people whose names I don't remember.
I loved Roxy's the character Roxy. Just like how violent she is.
Now, I mean, this is one where I was like, she's
plays
not
a good
bringing
heel.
she's not bringing any heat. These line
but it's
deliveries.
enough. You don't want someone to outdo Kim Cattrall. In this, she was meant to be just second banana brunette, who's hot. But
bring something to the table. I have a clip. No, I have a clip of it doesn't.
It doesn't.
I have a clip of one of her line
there.
readings where I'm like, they couldn't have done that again. Now, Jonathan, I'm not getting on.
Okay, well, I will enjoy that. But you have the most, the most wonderful slide up in front of me, and it makes me. This is my favorite stuff when you show me stuff like this, that people in real life really do like each other and they still like each other. Why don't you explain what's on the screen, Matt?
Oh, well, Andrew McCarthy transitioned into sort of a TV character actor role and also directs a lot of TV, including on his friend James Spader's show, The Blacklist. Now, in this story that I screenshotted, it then says they did not talk to each other for like 25 years. They didn't fall out or anything. They're just, people in life sometimes stop being friends.
Right.
But then when they started working together, they became friends again. I don't actually think they're best friends. It is just weird that they did 3 movies together in the 80s and then and now work together on The Blacklist.
Don't you assume it's got to be hard to make really close friends in this industry at all, because you basically keep going after the same parts. You're forever tied together as those two guys, but Spader being the one that's always the douche and not the heartthrob, Andrew McCarthy being the one that often gets the sweet guy role, but you can't see him the other way. They both end up getting typecasted. I could.
No, when you're like James Spader and you're like, I'm like a talented actor and like I bring interesting things to my roles and this guy's a pretty face and his appeal is that he's not interesting.
Weekend at Bernie's again and tell me that shit.
I really don't want to.
So funny. He's the only reason you like the movie.
No, I remembered it being the opposite. That Jonathan Silverman is the other guy.
No, he was
the funny one.
No. Who was the one that just listened to the episode? Heel.
So?
Piece of crap. Your memory's wrong here. You don't get to be the memory lord right now. I'm the memory lord.
We'll talk about Kim Cattrall.
Look at her.
She plays the mannequin. She was 30 years old. The notable instance of the female love interest being older than the male. How about that? Kim Cattrall is British Canadian. She was born in London but raised in Canada. And she rose to prominence in Porky's 1982. Police Academy 1984, Big Trouble in Little China 1986, directed by John Carpenter.
Hey.
And yeah, she shows up in this
Kurt
movie.
Russell.
And Kurt Russell's John Carpenter's guy.
Oh. Did he also do Overboard, one of my movies?
He did not direct Overboard, but that would be interesting if he did. So yeah, I mean, she's just effervescent and great in this movie and great in everything. And everybody, says, well, she's obviously the best actress of Sex and the City. So naturally she is not in the sequel series because the other 3 ladies were mean to her.
Yes. And I always have a tinge of sadness when I see anything with her in it or just think of her. Like, that was a lot of years of your life on a show that you added a lot to. That's going to be your legacy, whether you want it to be or not. And for you, it's bad memories.
No, she never said like it's a bad legacy. She likes it. It's just she wasn't friends with her co-stars, and that's okay. It's a job.
Sure, but I don't want to go to a job every day where I know everyone else are friends and they understand each other, but I'm not.
Okay, but well, yes, that's the part that makes it hard, and
that's
especially
all I'm talking about.
when Sarah Jessica Parker is also an executive producer on the show and the highest paid and you're like, well, I'm a better actress than she is, and everyone likes me better. But yeah, and seems to be
and playing the harder role, playing the role that can follow you around. I mean, people look at Kim Cattrall and think slut. It's just they equal each other because she plays that role so well. And I mean, she's such a convincing person in that show. And I mean, you know, just a very sexually empowered woman. I don't know why it's taking me so long to say words today.
She's just, yes, empowered. She's a woman.
She has sex with herself and with others. She's got nice feet. I'm looking at her feet right now. I didn't go search for them. They're just right here.
So those are the stars of the movie.
Oh, but you didn't even talk about Manchak. I mean, Manchak.
Well, I don't usually get into the supporting cast.
He's hardly supporting. For me, he is the movie. I looked so hard for a shirt with his face on it. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, he's funny. And hey, I liked that. I was shocked when this movie ended without the, hero characters being super homophobic. It's like, wait a minute, this movie doesn't have any homophobic jokes. It just depicts the bad characters being homophobic. That's interesting. I don't hate this movie.
Good.
It was an okay time. It started horribly.
Yes, it did.
And it has enough going on, but I don't like it.
All right. Okay. Well, I made my glasses look really cool in honor of Hollywood Montrose.
Yeah.
And I've clearly put on the dyslexic database here that best character in all of cinema. So
I don't disagree.
I don't like to be hyperbolic.
No, he's
just
good.
accurate.
He's good. It's good performance, good character. And now we shall talk about Mannequin. Back after this. So the task at hand is to really carefully analyze Mannequin, scene by scene, frame by frame.
That's excessive.
Yes. Okay. Dig in. Get something to eat, everybody. As is our process here on Load Bearing Beams, we take a break between our history segment and our main movie discussion. And I did go back and watch the movie again, as I usually do, to make notes, get clips. Did this improve my appreciation for the film?
Did it?
Maybe by like a quarter of a star.
I'll take it. Wait, our point system doesn't even allow for quarter stars.
I know.
I still take it.
Yes. Do I round up or down? I don't know. But my central issue with this is the director. I don't feel like has a grasp of the material and the tone. I feel like this is 5 different comedies at once.
I will allow it.
Thank you. Like toward the end of the movie, there's for the first time in the whole movie, there's a sped up, fast sequence. Hollywood covers his convertible with a cover and they go into fast motion.
That's got to be because it was a funny bit, but the actor probably took a really long time to actually do it. When I was watching it, that was what I was.
But it's like, it'd be funny if he did it in real time. And it was like, it's just so urgent. We have to run to the store, but he still has to cover. Like, if you go slower, it's funnier. But the people outside the theater in Oklahoma City said they love fast motion. So gotta do it. No, I'm not saying I know that happened. It's just the guy is driving the motorcycle with his mannequin and this woman's like, look, it's a man and his dummy. And her husband's like, who are you to criticize? I'm like, where did this come from?
Also, when did anyone start calling a mannequin a dummy? Just because it's made of wood, and often they're plastic, and metal. So that's
even on the poster.
That was a stupid joke from the beginning. Like, a dummy is for ventriloquism dolls. Ventriloquist?
Ventriloquism.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Even the poster says, Jonathan may have a mannequin to have sex with, but he's no dummy. It says that.
I must say, the thing I've been let down by the most whenever we review movies from the 80s and 90s, and even early aughts sometimes, are the stupid freaking punchlines they put on the movie poster.
Oh, taglines.
Sure. It often does not end up. It doesn't withstand the test of time. They have no control, marketing, over what the lasting impression and vibe of the movie is, and I feel like the vibes are off often. And what comes to mind is Romeo and Michelle High School Reunion, the blonde leading the blonde. Fuck off. They invented Post-its.
Even that one, yeah, they did. Even that one, like that feels like it could be on a poster today. In the 80s and 90s, like you just had the longest taglines, and often there'd be multiple taglines.
Right, like each post, they just try A and B testing.
Yeah,
right.
Now it's just very short and like just like feel the power or whatever.
So you're saying you miss jokes?
I miss.
Are you saying you wish they were?
I kind of miss the
goofy?
really long and unnecessary long taglines.
I think it's just maybe because marketing, you can't be totally sure someone caught a commercial or however it is they advertise movies back then. So it's like, I need to give you a quick gist of what you might expect. Like, here's my elevator pitch if we're going up one floor.
These ladies went to high school together. It's 10 years later. They got an invitation in the mail. They opened it. It's a reunion.
See how that would go? See how that didn't work?
So the movie Mannequin opens in ancient Egypt, predictably.
As soon as this happened, I'm like, it's just like with The Exorcist. I never remember we open here.
It is very exorcist-ish. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, the on-screen text says, Edfu, Egypt, a really long time ago, right before lunch. So you know what kind of movie you're watching. Because speaking of Romeo and Michelle, we watched that movie, and to prepare, I watched the Woody Allen movie, Mighty Aphrodite, to prepare myself.
Oh, right, because of Mira Sorvino.
Yes. And I feel like this movie, Mannequin, could easily be a shitty Woody Allen movie.
It had those beats.
Yep. Like he's playing the guy who makes mannequins, and like Scarlett Johansson plays the mannequin. My mannequin is alive and no one believes me. Can't you see it?
I immediately put him in like the guard role for like he'd put himself in like a silly role.
He'd put himself as the romantic lead.
Or the little old lady that almost gets hit by the sign.
He could be her.
Yeah.
So we're in a tomb. Kim Cattrall, Emmy, is in this tomb. She's dressed herself up in a mummy costume. There's scarabs. Brendan Fraser's outside the pyramid, if you listen closely. And her mom comes in and she's like,
Bobby, baby, mommy, get into this man's car.
It's time for you to get married to Hazira.
A sarcophagus for two.
He sells camel dung.
Can't wait.
And she's like, Mother, I want to do things. I want to invent things. I want to create human-like dolls that you can put clothes on, and I want to fly. So she says, God's help me. And then they make her disappear. And
the mom is not that upset, I must say.
A little nonplussed.
Like, no.
So, she keeps these Egyptian gods recur throughout the movie. I think we have to bring back our old segment, Is God Real in this movie? Okay. And if so, which god is it?
I imagine it's the cabin in the woods one.
Go on.
No, just that there's definitely going to be a bloodletting blood sacrifice, and then it's inside of some sort of tomb, and it goes through the.
Yeah, if you saw what Emmy was up to all these years, like there's a lot of that.
Right, lots of people have gone missing, and people have been said to have like crashed on an airplane. But what it really is that Emmy has been killing these famous missing and dead figures all along.
So, animated credits. Hey, look at them.
I was wondering, did this work for you? Because I was like, oh, thank God. It's something Matt likes for some reason.
Animation.
Animated credits. Out of nowhere.
Hey, good job making these.
But is it like they didn't know who was going to be in the star? Well, no, they knew the names because they wrote them in. But it's like, let me make this I guess it's a cat. Is this an Egyptian cat? No, thank you, asshole. Yeah, I know the thing with the snout's a pig. I mean, the lady.
Yeah, that's a cat. Egyptians love cats.
Okay.
The animation here is by Sally Cruikshank and her team at Playhouse Pictures. I was wondering, what does this remind me of? And when I looked into it, no, it's not like Grease at all, but it's something I know I've seen
Hanna-Barbera?
No, what it is it's the animated interludes from Sesame Street, which this Sally Cruikshank also did. And she also did a bunch of other movies, had animated opening credits around this time. Ruthless People, Loverboy, Madhouse. You seen any of these movies?
Loverboy. He's the pizza delivery boy that's also a whore.
That movie was written by Robin Schiff of Romeo and Michelle. That's why that poster looks familiar to me.
Okay. I thought you were going to tell me why it looks familiar to me, and you'd be wrong. And Patrick Dempsey. Meow.
And then the song playing during this sequence is In My Wildest Dreams by Belinda Carlisle.
It's really a nothing song, isn't it? especially considering the fucking banger that happens at the end. Oh, it changed my life. I can't wait till we get there. I'm going to calm down.
So we meet Jonathan, Andrew McCarthy, and this guy, his heads are in the clouds. He won't focus on the job, or he focuses too much because he loves making mannequins.
With nipples, though.
Well, that's the job. You got to
sculpt their nipples.
Do mannequins not have nipples? Is that not a thing?
No, they haven't had nipples in a minute. Those are 80s mannequins right there, baby.
His methods are unorthodox. He insists on nipples. So yeah, he's dancing around with his mannequin. He's singing My Girl.
Off key.
Even though it doesn't appear to be playing in the room, but like his coworkers are joining in. Oh, Jonathan, look at you go. I'm going to dance too. My girl.
It's playing in the other room, it seems. Like they're not in the cool room of the workshop of the factory. And at this stage, why the fuck do they have wigs on? These would be bald mannequins right now. It's silly that it doesn't matter. Go on.
So he just wants to make his art, just wants to make his beautiful art. But
right.
The boss is like, we're here to make profits, not art. So you're fired.
So few jobs for sculptors. But you know, Jonathan, he's ahead of them. He turns every job into a tedious details.
No matter what job he gets.
He is frustrating.
Tell us what he does.
All right. Well, so this one seems to be the only one where he doesn't get into his little, I have to make everything take a really long time. So first I guess the first thing we see is he's a balloon artist, and it connects to the job he had right before because you see he's doing it for his boss's son's party. It's the boss from the one that fired him right before. It doesn't matter. Yeah, okay. It is. And boy, is this wacky. In this reality, a large balloon can take a boy away into the sky. Like, what is this movie doing? So, okay, that he gets fired because that's not okay. And then here's our second, not Tim Robbins. I'm going to need help here. Tim Burton moment. Because at first I got very, Nightmare Before Christmas vibes when it's a conveyor belt of arms and legs and they're putting together a lady. And then all of a sudden he's Edward Scissorhands and he's making a poodle out of a topiary when no one asked him to.
They just want you to trim the hedges, make a lawn animal.
Whoa!
I can't help it. I have the soul of an artist.
And the attention span of someone who doesn't listen to instructions. And then the next thing he does is he goes to make a pizza pie, and he spends a really long time, which, come on,
and he
Jonathan.
Just loads it with toppings.
Come on, Jonathan.
All the colors of the rainbow. And each time he gets fired, the boss is like, go collect your paycheck and get out of here.
Like my all 15-cent paycheck? I've been here for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it's nice that they're paying him. But they all say that phrase. Go get your paycheck, and then
you know how many W-2s this man's going to have to produce at the end of the damn year, or W9? I forget. I forget which one it is when it's you have an employer. It doesn't matter. Let's not get into taxes on this episode again. All right, now we meet Roxy, Carol Davis. She seems to be into him. That's his girlfriend. Sorry. He goes and picks her up at her fancy. I assumed at first this was some kind of Wall Street situation. I know they're in Philadelphia. There's no inclination. There's no reason I should think this is some sort of
department store
swag. But why do people have nice clothes? Oh, because they fucking work there. But anyway, they look like a bunch of bankers. He comes up on his little motorcycle. She's so embarrassed. She gets on the back and hugs him dearly. And then she needs to get away really fast because her boss is coming out. And it's like, is her boss just a giant creep who she's running away from? Or is she so embarrassed?
No, she's trying to ingratiate herself with the muckety mucks, with the boss.
But she's
Mr.
hiding
BJ.
from him.
No, because she's embarrassed to be on the back of a motorcycle instead of a Rolls Royce.
That was option B I was offering. Okay, but he's also a creep. They're all creeps. Everyone she works with is a creep.
So she's like, that's Mr. BJ Wirt. He's the regional manager. He basically is Illustra, which they don't say at any point Illustra is a department store.
They do not.
But
they love tinsel. Look at that window display.
Yeah,
Could you find anything tackier?
We'll find out later. It's in contrast to the classic beauty of Prince and Company.
Yeah,
the good department store.
The inside of their store feels very 80s, very neon lights, super... I guess that made it high energy and exciting for the time. And Walmart and Kmart and stuff wouldn't have been what they are now. But that is kind of where Walmart and Kmart went, was this bright colors. Everything's jam-packed in, signs and low, shitty, those ceilings you can poke open. What am I trying to say?
Popcorn.
No, the ones that pop open. You can push them. It doesn't matter. It's like a false ceiling. I'm sure it was supposed to look like hip and cool, but it just looks like cheap and shit. So whoever mimicked that going forward made this store not look cool.
So I want
to
play this clip because this right here is sort of my indictment of the director for not letting his actors know what kind of movie they're in.
Okay.
And I want to apologize to Carol Davis. I think she's good in this movie.
Yes.
Second time through, I think she's pretty good. Right here, it's just weird and confusing.
Oh, Rox, this job at Illustra is destroying your sense of humor. You gotta quit.
Huh, I'm not the one that can't deal with reality.
Reality is very disappointing.
Jonathan, I really do care about you, but I think that if we sleep together tonight, we only confuse things. I think you should see a professional.
Professional what? You mean a hooker?
No, a psychiatrist.
No, it's like
I can't afford a psychiatrist, Roxy.
Well, then call one of those shrinks on the radio.
Come on, they're only good if you have little problems that fit between the commercials.
Good night, Jonathan.
So it's like, is he like a Chandler Bing? Like a lot of he's a lot of wisecracks hiding behind sarcasm, but he doesn't play it that way. But he's saying these things that sound like they are.
The way I've always read it is he's a kid. Like, I mean, he's just immature and kind of he's kind of immature, but he seems to be like a romantic as well. I don't know. It just seems like he can't be serious, or maybe she's so serious he feels like he needs to keep it light.
That makes sense, but all of this is like this is supposed to be like rat-a-tat-tat screwball comedy, but
it's not.
It's so flat.
It's very flat.
Yeah.
Well, and she's completely uninterested in him. I mean, and grossed out by him losing another job. I mean, just completely turned off. But to me, I thought they broke up here, but now I guess no, they just.
Oh, it certainly seems like
it does, but she still seems to think they're still together later on. It was just like, look, just not tonight. Don't come back to my apartment. I'm not going to reward this behavior. Eat your ice cream, little boy.
Like what? Okay. If we sleep tonight together, it'll just confuse things.
Well, yeah, I guess he should have some sort of. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. She's the mommy, he's the baby. It's like he needs to have some sort of punishment while he eats his fucking ice cream.
Hey, okay.
All right then. All right, Jonathan's sad. You can tell because he won't drive his motorcycle. He'll only push it, and only when it's raining. Kidding. It breaks down. What else could go wrong? And just as he's at his lowest point, in the dark, pushing the only thing he has left, he sees that woman he made once, and he runs over. Oh my God, it's you! Like, oh my God! And it just gives him the biggest erection, I assume. Oh, and then his motorcycle works, which, okay, so anything's possible with Kim Cattrall.
Yes. And he is, as you said, walking his motorcycle through the rain. And this right now is the introduction to, I mean, the music in this movie is fucking nuts. It's just swaps between the most somber piano, and now this piano will recur throughout our episode, depending on the seriousness of what we're talking about.
Okay.
So it switches between this and just like the most 80s synth you can imagine. So then we meet Estelle Getty. She plays Claire. Her department store, she's just inherited it. It's not doing well. And, well, okay, we need to go.
It's very loud. Okay, now I feel like I'm in the old country. All right, go.
So Estelle Getty is Miss Claire Timken. She's inherited Prince and Company. And Jonathan returns to the store to ogle his mannequin. And there he runs into Miss Claire, who, you know, she says, oh, I just recently inherited this store from my father. He died, but he died exactly where he wanted to be, in women's lingerie. And Andrew McCarthy's like, what? What? But she says lingerie. I should have gotten this clip. She says it so weird. She says it like laundry. In women's laundry.
Great. What a good little piece of
observation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What the fuck? Man, we're spending a lot of time on this scene.
Yes.
Who knew?
Jonathan, suddenly there's a sign swinging away, and Jonathan pushes her out of the way.
Well, instead of just saving her life, he also takes a ride on the fucking sign. You know what? To show his dedication to the money this woman is spending and how important this business is, that these assets matter. They're not disposable. And therefore, he will not be. Like he has been in the past.
Well, he swings around on this sign for a long time. Like, and she's like, what is your name, son?
And as if that's not enough, he electrocutes his butt not once, but twice. So many gags.
And here's where we meet the synth score. oh my God, get me down from here.
Okay, not Grease at all. You're doing your Travolta
I don't have
impression.
that many voices. Tell me about this department store.
This department store is amazing. In my head, this movie was a mall movie, and I get it. It's just if a mall were vertical, because holy fucking shit, not since Mad Men, and even then, have I seen a department store with, is it 11 floors? It is I mean, to be fair, the only floor that has a lot of surface area is the first one, because the rest of them are kind of this like wraparound thing, but it's just immensely huge.
Well, I think department stores, have their origins in city centers and downtowns. And we think of department stores as being in malls, but I think this is more the classic thing.
And it feels that way. Hence why it reminds me of the one in Mad Men in the first season. It seems like the higher you go up, the darker it gets, the less populated it is, the more random the product. Like, here's a mattress, something anyone needs to buy once every 10 years. And they're expensive, and no one's up here. But please don't sleep in the bed for some reason, lady. Get your son out of the bed. I'm not speaking from personal experience. He likes the beds. Let the boy lay in the... All right.
Who the fuck buys a bed from a department store?
And who's taking this home? How are we getting... I guess it gets delivered, but... I always just assumed the beds are there to show off the
sheets and the blankets. And stuff.
Right, which is in the comforts, which is true. It's just in Mad Men, they're selling beds.
Yeah.
So it confuses.
Well, this is, it's not 1903 anymore, where the point is, this is a store with departments, every department you need. Because where else are you going to get a bed? Where else are you going to get a toaster or a toy?
Right, and tools and hard things with soft things.
This department store, Prince & Company, it's empty. It's almost like a department store right now. Like, every time we're in a department store, I'm just like, how the hell is this place open? I'm outnumbered by employees like 3-1. It makes no sense. But it's very melancholy.
Okay. I'm bummed.
Because it used to be a place where, like, we're rewatching Mad Men. Multiple women who get married say, finally, I could stop working at the department store. But it was a place where women could work.
Oh, that makes sense.
It was a path to like middle class career. You didn't have to be super educated, and maybe you could even move up into corporate.
Well, I mean, it's a form of networking, right? Especially if you're at the high end places, you're going to meet and run into people who have decision making power and stuff in different companies.
So the person who runs this store, his name is Mr. Richards. He doesn't have a first name.
I love this character.
And he's James Spader. And yes, he's very funny in this movie.
He is good at being this guy.
Love a fussy department store manager. It's kind of a trope.
There's a lot to be done.
Yeah.
It's a thankless job.
So he is plotting to take over the department store / sell it / demolish it.
Just, I think, to become the number 2 at the highest grossing one by sabotaging it so that it can be bought by the Illustra guy.
I think that's it, yeah. Because he's colluding with...
And I'll be the VP or some bullshit.
Yeah, he's colluding with Mr. Worth over at Illustra. Wirt, sorry. And, again, I return to my theory. Just swap Spader and McCarthy, and suddenly this movie works, 50% better.
Spader has such a punchable face, though.
Oh, okay.
He's got a little asshole face.
So he wouldn't
looks
work
like a
in
jerk.
any movie?
No.
But okay, I watched some of Weekend at Bernie's, and I agree. Yes, he is Andrew McCarthy, funny in that.
Yep.
But he is weaponizing his inherent blandness he's a good shit heel. So make him a shit heel here.
Oh, that's true.
And this movie needs to be about a weird guy, a guy who would fall in love with a mannequin. I mean, he doesn't fall in love with a mannequin. He falls in love with a real woman. But there needs to be more weirdness to him.
John Cusack could have done that role well.
Sure.
He's always fallen in love hard. No matter the scenario. No matter how much the girl doesn't want to also love him.
He will never give up.
So, because Jonathan rodeoed with a sign, saved a lady, he gets a new job. The stock boy. Pushing around panties. Boxed panties for some fucking reason. And he knew exactly where department store windows are. Weirdly, they are inside of also where the dressing rooms are. I was like, why is he going straight to the ladies' dressing rooms to try and find the mannequin? And one of the doors is the mannequin. If a non-woman needs to go change out these mannequins. Why would you want someone walking straight through that department to do their job? Hence why they work at night, though, when you think about it. Window dressers work at night. I had no idea.
See anything you like, Switcher?
I was just looking for panties.
Huh? Well, you found them. However, my friend,
Right, you're in the
missed
scrubs
lingerie
department. Where are these ugly
by
fucking clothes?
4 quarters. Well, get going. Right. Asshole. What was that? Oh,
I'm glad you got
nice
the end of that
haul.
clip where he's just walking off and all you hear is footsteps. Perfect. Okay, what do you want me to say about this?
Here's what I want you to say. James Spader says lingerie exactly how you accuse me of saying the word lunch.
What do you... Lingerie. I like that. Lingerie. How dare you make a thing?
The lingerie department. The lingerie department.
Which I do not say.
Yeah, except
Lunch.
for whenever you're really interested in having some lunch.
Well, I get really into it. Do you want to go out and get a bite to eat for lunch?
Ah!
What do I say? What do you think I say?
That's what I just said.
Say it.
Lunch.
What? All
You
right.
put extra letters in there.
I'm just trying to sound like Spader.
All right. Now we meet Hollywood Montrose, my favorite character in all of cinema, it turns out. Now, he is played by Meshach Taylor, who I was very sad to find out died in 2014, and I wish you hadn't put this picture of him because it makes me sad to think of him outside of the world of the movie. How dare you? But he is just the most supportive, understanding, flamboyant, smart, fucking creative. He's just Johnny on the spot. He's so supportive. He doesn't know this man. Maybe it's lonely working nights and he's just happy to see someone else who cares about going the extra mile, whatever it is. But so much to love about this person.
And crucially, he sees, Jonathan, I see that you want to fuck the mannequin.
Right.
I don't judge you for it.
Right.
It's
no
okay.
harm.
Yes.
There's no harm here.
We're a family here at Prince and Company.
Not even that. Weird, recognize weird. And art and eccentric recognize eccentric. I'm not talking about his sexuality. I'm talking about like he's used to people not getting it.
No, he is weird. Yes. And he even says that. I like you. Finally, I met someone who works here who's stranger than I am.
Yeah, something like that.
And now, neither of us is gay. So we can't judge whether this performance is offensive. It does go over the top in every single character and every single, stereotype.
But I will say, I mean, it was already a well-founded character, right? Or which came before, Designing Women or
Designing
this?
Women came first, which again,
which is 8 years, 8 seasons. And I guess they had enough information to know that this character worked for, I guess I can't know. I can't know if there was an outcry from the gay community to put it into that character that they would have done it or not, didn't replicate it on this movie. But from what I read, it was just nice to have representation, especially of a black person that is gay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I read an obituary. Well, article by a gay man in Vulture. Don't remember the author's name, but who said this was somebody he loved on Designing Women because he just didn't see people like himself represented, a gay man, but a very eccentric and weird gay man like this. So my take is this he plays it with such joy, with such sweetness,
right,
and such weirdness that I really like it.
It seems like a celebration.
And he's not the butt of the joke at all,
ever,
and everyone likes him, even fucking asshole Andrew McCarthy. And
I will say the only time he is made fun of and talked about in a derogatory way, Andrew McCarthy then says that man's a bigot. It's corrected. It's not a punchline.
And the thing that Andrew McCarthy does in this movie that's likable is he laughs along with Hollywood. Like Hollywood makes jokes and he laughs. I like in movies when characters laugh at each other. I
do too. It's very Bob's Burgers, very Bob of Bob's Burgers specifically. And you actually just put a nail in. One of the things that I like about Andrew McCarthy that is he's so natural. You say it's bland, I say it's realistic. He's always snickering or laughing or making a little stupid joke when squeezing something in there when it doesn't need to go. But I guess
real people are also boring and have no charisma or screen presence.
But I think he does have charisma, and I do think he says little things when he shouldn't, but not in a I'm so theatrical, I'm so precocious way. He just in a very relatable way. It's what I like about him. So there. All right. Now, Captain Felix Maxwell. I'm pretty sure of Police Academy. I should have looked that up. And he is the night patrol, and they show his white socks. So that's how you know there's no need to respect this man. It's the equivalent of showing toilet paper on the bottom of his shoe. What an idiot. Doesn't even know to wear black socks or to have pants that go all the way to the bottom of the floor. But he takes himself very seriously. He's probably ex-military. They might even say he is. Actually, they do.
Dwight Schrute, I'm kind of picking up on, is
Don't make me say it.
No, because that is not this character. No.
I'm going to take my bag
Don't
out.
do it.
Okay, well.
No, because especially with what I'm going to say next. No, this guy definitely was at January 6th. And he's like a citizen soldier.
Right. He needs to have that authority, that purpose again, that he liked that little power, that bit of power. And
he thinks he's a troop, even though he's not a troop anymore, but I'm still a troop. I'm going to bust into Comet Ping Pong and save everybody there.
I got you. But when you peak then, when that's like the most purpose you've ever had, I do understand like seeking it out in the real world. And veterans don't get any respect, not the way that you're really supposed to. So, but he seems completely oblivious to how poorly he's being treated and talked to by the guy he reports to. He's kind of kissing his ass a little bit or like just taking it. But maybe that's a military thing too. Just take it.
No, so G.W. Bailey plays Felix. Mm-hmm. He does a fine job, but this is a character from a different movie. Like this is like from a straight to Nickelodeon movie.
I agree.
Like again, 5 different comedies in this one comedy.
You know what I realized after? I'm going to look it up. I should have already. But a weird coincidence in Mannequin 2, the guy that plays Weekend at Bernie is the bad guy. And then he's a good one. He's funny. I remember him being very funny and over the top. But anyway, I was just like, oh, that's wait, there's no connection there. They're not in this movie. They're in those movies together. Anyway.
So the mannequin comes to life because
she's so casual too. She's
Jonathan is, playing with the mannequin behind closed doors. And suddenly she's like, well, hello, I'm alive. And he's like, what? But not what enough.
No, he falls into the window. He does a great job.
I'm saying the rules of physics and reality are not what I took them to be. Okay, I guess. So
it's the same thing with Pleasantville, right? It's like, how long do we want the freak out to go? How much do we need it? They just need the movie to accept it and move on.
I know. And then he'll be like, I should probably get a CAT scan after this. She only comes to life when other people aren't around, although we don't know that yet. And we don't know what causes this to happen. Is this woman's spirit, this ancient Egyptian woman, it's not tied to the corporeal form of the mannequin.
We also don't know how she came alive and all the other times when she did. I mean, they don't explain it. I just assume her soul gets to possess an object.
Could she possess like a Mr. Potato Head? Well,
and maybe this is why she's met so many impressive characters. Maybe only a deserving, interesting person gets to. It doesn't make sense. But why try to make something make sense so much if you're not actually going to explain it later? It's just, why do we even need this backstory?
Yeah, I do kind of like a fantasy where everything is just kind of brushed. No, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I know there are people who do care about that, but that's not the kind of story you're watching.
Just decide which one it is, though.
So, Kim Cattrall as Emmy, and her British Canadianness does come out when she says, does this feel like an hallucination? She says, an hallucination. It is a pet peeve of mine that Americans will sometimes inject an "an" before an H word. Like they'll often say "an historic." But that's the point, is that if you were British, you would not say historic, you would say historic. Mm-hmm. So you'd say an historic. Right,
because it's how it sounds, it's not how it's spelled.
Exactly. Idiots. So they play with power tools and they run around the department store and frolic and stuff.
That's all you're going to say? It's adorable. They wear all the clothes. Is this the montage with all the clothes?
No, that's later.
Oh, okay, good.
It's fine.
It's my favorite.
Jonathan wonders if insanity's covered in the company health plan.
All right, but there's no reason that we can really know if
it covers it.
Exactly. We need to talk to them. But also, there's a reading of this movie that he is insane. That this all was an illusion because he's at his lowest point. All right, talk about the impossible bigness of his fucking apartment. Go on.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. That's hack. to complain about how people in movies have enormous apartments. That this is absurd. And he has a fucking grand piano in his apartment. Also lots of books. He's so soulful. He's always reading books. And he calls his mom and he's like, Mom, I know I'm so weird and I'm always doing weird things like playing baseball and stuff. But tell me, did I ever have any hallucinations when I was growing up? And did ever like a mannequin come to life or anything like that? And yeah.
All right.
The window displays that Jonathan and Emmy and Hollywood, I guess, are teaming up to do.
Hollywood didn't do any of it, but he maybe might help later. But
he's
Hollywood's
the window dresser.
He's in charge of right.
He's taking his job.
He could have been read that way, but that's why Hollywood's so awesome. He rolls with it. He's excited. He likes the creativity. But anyway, he left early because he needed to go be with Albert.
That's true. This screenplay is airtight. So it's starting to attract a crowd. People are starting to show up. What's in this window? Why is this mannequin wearing that? And why are there tennis rackets?
That's
Only one way to find out.
wondering.
Got to go into the store and buy stuff. I wonder if, I'm sure you will say yes, but I wonder if there's data on window displays actually affecting
It brings
sales.
me in. So yeah, I'm going to say yes because if something catches my eye, if there's a style or a look or like a range of styles that I like on a mannequin, I can assume that in the store are going to be things that I like. It's a completely different experience to grab something that's like row by row by row, squinched in and pull it up and go, what does that look like on a human? You do need to see it on a form.
Yes.
And you need to see it outside. If there's a row of shops, it's the way you're going to pull me into yours.
Okay.
Next question. You want to talk about babies?
Babies.
Homemaking? Nipples?
What?
All the female topics that I know so much about.
Yeah, Jonathan is getting all of this credit, and James Spader, Richards, is not happy about that. He's like, this guy's a nincompoop. Why did we even hire him? And he's talking on the phone to Mr. BJ Wirt over at Illustra because, again, they're colluding. They're trying to take down this store. And he is trying to get Jonathan fired because he set up this garish display. I don't know what's so garish about it, but everybody agrees this is bold and daring and garish and an unbecoming of Prince and Company. So
No one agrees.
but sorry, what am I missing something? What's like wrong with this display? Like what?
It's kitsch.
It is?
It's not highbrow. Well, the fact that her outfit's beautiful. It's very playful pose, but they have, electronics. They have a tennis ball going back and forth, which is why.
Oh, wait, there's tennis rackets instead of people's heads.
Are you fucking
I didn't
kidding?
notice.
So that the tennis rackets go back and forth like this, the way you follow a tennis match. There's a ball going back and forth between the two people, making you look that person. So it's a double entendre. I can't stop looking at these outfits. I can't stop watching this game.
Oh, this is garish and bold.
Jesus,
but I might
Matt.
have to shop at this
You don't
place.
just have face blindness. You have blindness when an object is used as a face.
It's true.
What if it had been a Mack truck? You'd be dead.
So Estelle Getty, sorry, because trying to say character names, not actor names.
I know I'm bad at that.
Claire is leading this board meeting where Richards is trying to get Jonathan fired. But she won't have it. She says, in fact, I'm going to promote him because this is the most attention our store has ever gotten. And then they go into the business of we're near bankruptcy. We're days away from bankruptcy. We got to sell to Illustra. And she's like, but at 10% of our value? No, let's give it another 6 weeks. Let's double down on these weird window displays and see if anything happens with there. So Jonathan gets his promotion and please go do your window stuff. James Spader is very funny here. Because once Jonathan's job is saved, Richards is like, hey, I saved your job, Jonathan. You're very welcome.
That was everything I could do to keep you here, buddy.
So then the fucking dance and costume.
Yeah, they do.
montage, 'cause
They were the best stuff. And they get to finally show off Andrew McCarthy's little tricks too. He can do things with hats. He can dance kind of. He's a sweetheart. The bottom line is they like being, if people can be silly together and they think it's funny and they get each other's humor, that's it. This movie is a fast love, whirlwind love thing that actually does a good job of laying the groundwork for why two people like or love each other so much so quickly.
Two boring people. Yeah, it makes sense.
They're not boring. Look at them having a blast. You're boring.
This montage goes on for a long time.
It's really fucking long.
Lacey in New Orleans says she loves costume montages, so they roll it.
All right.
And
Which is why I had a costume change. See, this is not what I was wearing at the beginning of the episode.
it was very exciting when you changed.
I-
You
it's
made some
so-
gestures to me, and I was like, oh.
So 80s, the shirt, man.
Yeah, after this montage, I think is where it reveals that Emmy will turn back into a mannequin whenever anybody else comes around, because Hollywood shows up and Jonathan's like, Hollywood, I want you to meet my girlfriend, Emmy. What? You're a mannequin again? And then he leaves, Hollywood leaves, and Emmy comes back to life and says, oh, I forgot to tell you, you're the only one who can see me. And he's like, well, that's not fair. And she says, don't ask me, talk to them. And she points up at the sky, at the Egyptian gods, at Amun-Ra and Anubis. So they are real. They are playing a role in this movie.
So people are so excited. This is the 80s. There's nothing else to do. They're looking at these window displays. It's on my way to work anyway. And now Roxy is given the very sexist mission of seducing Jonathan into working at Illustra, so they can continue their plan of taking over the business. So she asks him to dinner. She's very confident. He hilariously has worked at this restaurant before and apparently set an entire part of it on fire, which that joke's funny. I like, oh, the balcony looks nice. They redid the balcony. Or those parts are fine. But that they needed to like burn a man's toupee and like put, that's all so, I don't know, just wasn't very well done, but whatever. He says no. He can't be bought. He's not the same person, meaning he's found love.
I'm not the person you used to know 3 days ago.
Fine. He's had the most profound thing happen to him. Physics are different. And he's got someone who really appreciates him. He got a job and a promotion. Also, he's good at sculpting, even though he's not sculpting anything. But he's an artist, Matt. He's fulfilling all the shit. Spies. Okay, so now Felix the Cop and Roxy and Armand catch Jonathan. Well, okay. I'm reading your notes and I'm not setting up the fucking premise. Okay, so since Jonathan says no, the big plan from BJ, is that, well, then you go and spy on him. We got to get some dirt. We got to blackmail this guy into coming over here. So they get footage of him making sweet love to a mannequin, his mannequin, and take pictures of it like that's some big deal. And Felix, the cop, is also seeing him and trying to catch him, think he's up to something, not sure what it is, but it's gross.
And he's like, oh.
What does he think is happening?
No, I don't know, but he's
he could
like,
be fucking every clothes rack and every mannequin, and who cares?
you're fucking this mannequin? I'll show you what I think of that. And then he socks him in the face.
Right, like standing up for mannequins?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
I don't know. He says like, I'm just a weirdo artist. This is just how I work. This is how I get my inspiration.
Process,
yeah.
Right.
So yes, I think that's a good defense. I think it would work. I think that he could keep this up for probably like 30 years until maybe like 2017 when like a shocking expose comes out about what he's really doing.
Okay, this is a very weird part of the movie. I guess she's just... They need to hurry up and have her fulfill all those things she wanted while she was talking to her mom, because at the end of the day, all she's really fulfilling is a love story. She's only just marrying a guy and getting married, and he's going to love her for the rest of her life. So, like, isn't that much different from what she was going to do in Egypt? So, but wait, before she commits, she's going to get in one of those freaking weird what is it called? A hang glider with the weird body, like the dead body thing attached to it. It's just a weird body bag that you put your legs in. It's not becoming. And she flies down the middle of the giant store like Amelia Earhart in her little outfit. And that is smittening material for the Jonathan here.
Yeah, because she's like, Jonathan, there's never been anyone more special than you in 4,000 years of human history. Which, yes, there has.
Come on, Chris. It is nice that they imply in a not weird way that Christopher Columbus is gay.
No, they don't. No, Michelangelo.
Him too. Both together. They were together.
No, she dated Michelangelo, but he was more into a guy named David.
Oh, right.
And her guy named Chris, he thought the world. I told him, because I'm smart, that the world is round, which Christopher Columbus knew the world was round. Everyone knew that.
She told him.
No, I know.
That's how you found out.
Yeah. Hey, you think if you lived for 4,000 years, do you, at a certain point, you like forget everything, right?
Are you asking me personally?
Yeah. If like I can barely remember 10 years ago, my memories are fading fast.
Oh, you're so right. I mean, she's magical, right? She made his motorcycle start. So like, I mean, does that mean she can also retain?
Like her brain tissue is stronger?
But wait, also, I don't know that she has experienced every part of the history. And what I thought was that she kind of pops in and out. So to her, she's just had probably, 30 years of memories. And it's just that they've all been at different times. And because what else would explain her weird Egyptian dancing? Why does she only know how to dance like an Egyptian if she's been through all of humanity up until this point? The Charleston should have been on the table at some point, I'm saying.
Yeah, because she doesn't know things like when the music starts playing on the speaker, she's like, where are the musicians?
Right. So she doesn't know what happened up. Like there's gaps. So she's worldly. She knows things, but I think she's only been popped in and out of time.
I do like to think about having eternal life, and like you'd change your name probably every few hundred years, and because you'd literally just feel like you're a different person.
You said you change your name every 5 years on the Fried Green Tomatoes episode.
I did? Mm-hmm. Why did I say that?
Because you're a different person.
5 years.
I thought it was a short window of time as well. I guess you're an idiot.
No, I had read an article about like that idea of, are we the same person?
Right.
Does it even make sense to use the same name we used? Which is something people, philosophers have debated for a long time. What do I have in common with the 4-year-old version of myself?
Right.
Something to ponder, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't have enough of that.
Jonathan is on the up and up. He's ascendant. He's a star. And we get like spinning newspaper headlines like
Illustra profits down.
Window man does good window stuff.
Right,
And
but why are they going to feature Illustra and for some reason they care about BJ Wirt? I mean, is he?
yeah, he's a regional manager.
He's a regional. Look, it's a huge picture of him too.
I know. This son of a bitch is doing a bad job.
He's wartless.
Nice.
Thank you.
So Richards and Felix the cop.
Son of a bitch is doing a what an incentive to do good at your work. Just you don't want to make it on page 4.
The press
you
to
don't
nail your ass.
Want it. That's just reserved for like own of the what day, week, whatever.
Yeah, the fucking
you're gonna find yourself on page 4.
Philadelphia newspaper man whose beat is department stores.
No, just anyone that sucks at their job right now.
Oh, okay.
They'd really sell that ad space. You got anybody you hate? $25. It would be a hit.
Richards and Felix, they get fired because they're doing weird stuff. They're spying on Jonathan in the middle of the night, and Claire Estelle Getty doesn't like that, and she says,
I'm just kidding. That is quite a role to just fire. I mean, he runs the everyday operations of the entire 11th floor.
She has Jonathan now. She doesn't need
He
him.
doesn't do the administrative
Doesn't
work.
matter.
All right then.
It is a little rash, and here's
and then she makes him a vice president.
She says this because when Kim Cattrall was flying in the hang glider, she crashed it into Felix and knocked him out for the night. So he woke up, 12 hours later in the store. And Claire's like, Mr. Richards, is this what you call a security officer who sleeps on the floor? Whatever. So she says he's fired. And then James Spader's like, oh, how could you fire him?
Don't do his voice. It's gross what you're doing.
And she says, you know what? When you escort him to pick up his last paycheck, pick up your own last paycheck, mister. So it recurs again, the paycheck line.
Oh, God, I didn't know where the fuck this point was going.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Jonathan, he's doing it. He's a lot of pressure on him now. He's got the big job. He's got to do window stuff real good, but he's not doing the window stuff. It's actually his girlfriend
That's
who no
not
one can
true.
see. He's helping, but it's not.
He ends up being the one that's completely doing it.
At this point, though, it's not. At this point, it's
Fine.
all
Emmy.
Emmy. So it's basically Ratatouille. And
You just want to say that.
We get a successful, yes, we get like this store is really successful montage. Everything's going great.
Except for he every day needs to go into the women's bathroom and definitely do hand stuff with that mannequin.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
And
This guy fucks is the name of this slide. This guy fucks.
a mannequin. His coworkers are like, he went into the bathroom again to fuck his mannequin. Let's listen.
But why the women's bathroom? What? That's polite to go into the women's one?
You know who doesn't like this? She wrote about a certain wizard. Illustra, they're going to blackmail Jonathan with the pictures of him smooching with his mannequin. And they're going to make him come work for us instead. Come make our windows good, please.
Don't you want to be
Or
here
else
where all the
we'll
blackmail is?
Or else we'll release these photos to the press and your picture will be large. So
You're on page 4.
he takes her into the bathroom. He's like, great news, Emmy. I'm the vice president. She's like, that's great. But then for a second looks kind of somber.
They don't have like miles and miles of like back, storage room
That's a good
areas,
point.
just ghost places where like all kinds of old stock has just been pushed
Oh,
over.
yeah.
Where do they keep the
It's
winter
11
stuff?
floors.
I mean, you got to go in the fucking executive women's bathroom. Like he doesn't even seem to be on the floor, the shopping floor. He seems to be in the boardroom executive floor. Look at the nice, do hand stuff with Emmy in a different bathroom or
But
in
they're
not a
not-
bathroom at all.
I did write several times. So are they having sex in my notes? And
No, they're
I would
just
say
talking.
canonically they're not having sex
No,
yet.
I know, but
So
also get a wagon. Pull her around in a wagon. That'd be cute.
she's like, oh, I only wish. And he's like, no, I'm sorry, Emmy. I never ask you about your day. I know that like, I'm getting all the credit for your work. And she's like, but I'm happy about that. I'm fine. I don't need anything else beyond doing all your work for you and you getting all the credit and me never getting to see anybody else. And then,
I'll bet you're great. I wouldn't know.
yeah.
I only ever get to see one man at a time. Every time I pop into history, one guy. And I turn into a mannequin. That's right.
Hollywood. Man,
Michelangelo, she was a sculptor.
that
you
makes
see.
sense. Yeah.
And then for Christopher Columbus, she was a boat.
The whole boat.
He was in her.
Ooh. Hollywood comes into the bathroom and she turns back into a mannequin and he's like, hey, you've kind of taken my job. And he's like, don't worry, I failed up into a position of power, so I'll protect your job forever. Yes.
Okay, but very sweetly, all the little assholes are like, all the employees who got their ear to the door, they're listening, they're being total gross voyeur idiot judgers. And Hollywood walks up and he tells everybody to go fuck off. I think it's very sweet.
That's not true. He says, how dare you eavesdrop on him without me?
Oh, damn it.
So he joins in on the eavesdropping.
Okay, but he normalizes it. Whatever, he's great. He's infallible. Go ahead.
I will. Jonathan decides I'm going to publicly acknowledge that I'm dating my mannequin.
Good for him.
And he takes her out on a date on the back of his motorcycle. Who cares? Who knows? This kind of reminded me of the movie Her, where Joaquin Phoenix starts dating his voice assistant. And like he tells his coworker and the coworker's like, yeah, a lot of people are doing that now. But Roxy shows up. She's like, please work for Illustra. Please, please, please work for Illustra. And he's like, no, I work for Prince & Company. We care about each other. We're a family here. Our jobs are totally not going to go away in 8 years when Amazon takes over.
She'll be an old mannequin by then.
They finally fuck.
I like that they make it clear that now it's fuck time.
Yeah.
Because I was unclear. I just assumed.
No, I assume too, but now you know.
Right. That's sweet. So after romantic sex, Jonathan falls asleep. Like I'll never understand people in a dangerous, precarious situation. They're not in their own home and they're doing something they're not supposed to, usually fucking, and they get fucked so good they fall asleep in the place they shouldn't be.
He is a deep and weird tortured artist. He lives for this shit. The toxins and hormones in his brain, you know what I'm saying, get all released and he has to go to sleep in the tent in the middle of the store.
All right, anyway, so he wakes up in fur or whatever. I don't know what he's wearing.
He's covered in fur.
Covered in fur. He's like,
the tent is gone.
He drifted over into the
fur
bear,
section.
the bear rugs
Yeah.
section. Because you go camping, you need a tent, you kill a bear, and then you make rugs, and so it's all in the same department. Floor 7.
I did like this. The crowd, they wake up. It's 11:30 in the morning, and he's naked in the middle of the store, but he doesn't get fired. But
They applaud him though, right?
Yeah, I
like
like
it was
that.
some sort of performance art.
yeah, because somebody says this is on the subtitles. They're like, "Oh, it's theater. I get it."
I don't want to be left out of this.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh, I forgot to say that before he falls asleep, he says to Emmy, "You inspire me. We could build cities, design things with care and dignity. People need that."
How do you feel about that, Matt?
I think it's dumb.
Ah, piss. All right, there's this. God, Illustra. We're in Illustra right now. Oh, there's a heist. Did we skip? So while the fucking is happening? No, wait. We're skipping some parts. I don't understand.
They steal the mannequin.
Yeah, but he's busy doing something. I forget why he's distracted.
No, while he's asleep, they steal the mannequin.
Oh, see,
so he falls asleep. Emmy goes back to her window.
Okay.
And that's when they steal her.
Emmy goes back to her window. But they steal a lot of mannequins because they can't tell the difference. They hide them in the storage room, which that's fine. This is a giant department store. And then I think they let Jonathan know that we've got your girls or work here. You'll never see her again. I can't actually.
Well, yeah, Hollywood's like, bad news. The mannequins have all been stolen. And so he runs over.
He knows where to go. Okay. And then that's where we're like, you'll get her back if you work here, see? And then for some reason, well, because he says no. But Roxy freaks the fuck out and just runs to where she is. The mannequins are all hiding, which is like, you didn't have to do that. You just. Also, why you gotta take his love? He's finally happy. Asshole. She probably thinks he could just get another mannequin. She doesn't understand.
To be fair, she doesn't know that it's a living being.
Yeah, but she knows how attached to it he is.
Yeah, but she thinks he's a child. She thinks I used to date a child who's obsessed with a toy.
That's fine, but you don't take that child's toy and then incinerate it or destroy it. That's fucking cruel and horrible.
You do if you're a scorned ex-lover.
You shouldn't be fucking children, Roxy.
I agree with that.
He was too infantile for you to date. You shouldn't have been taking advantage of him the whole time. She wanted a lovesick, putty in her hands kind of guy. I see you, Roxy.
No, she's disgusting.
Disgusting. Get some more shoulder pads. You look so unboxy. Roxy. Okay. Here comes my man Hollywood to the rescue. Because Jonathan chases her for far too long. Is a giant store.
I like this. I like that there's like 20 cops chasing him through the clothes section, and they're just like throwing aside the clothes racks,
right?
like unnecessarily.
Like all of this is someone's art or job or something. A lot of care. If you've ever worked in retail, which I did briefly, it is horrible, thankless, precise, boring work. And the work I see put into this shit, you line up each pair of pants in the same order by size. There's a whole art to it, and they just anyway.
Get him.
Yeah. So they chase them all the way back into the back of this building that looks like the place in Us where all the people who are tethered live. That's how big and giant this area is. But Hollywood comes to the rescue because Roxy puts all the mannequins on a big giant conveyor belt a la Toy Story 3 that takes a really long time to get up to the place where it then goes into the chopper. I don't know why I can't just stick them straight into the fucking chopper. But anyway, so for dramatic effect, we're watching it. He's running out of time. Jonathan needs to get away from these cops. Don't worry. For some reason, there's a giant fire hose. And Hollywood's going to spray it. And there's two things Hollywood likes. And that's fighting and kissing boys.
And then once they turn off the water and he runs away, James Spader yells at the cops, "Shoot him!" What an upset that this unarmed black man doesn't get shot by the cops.
Is that what he says?
Yeah. But it's shoot him. It's funny.
Give him a shot on the arm. Huh?
So, but then Emmy the mannequin is about to fall into the incinerator, but Jonathan saves her because she comes to life.
And for some reason, for the first time, wait, before she's comes to life, he's struggling to get this mannequin out of there. He's been toting her up and down the store all over the place. And all of a sudden, Emmy.
When suddenly she has blood and tissue and stuff inside her, she's lighter and he can pull her up.
No, Matt, I'm saying when she came to life eventually, but he's pulling up a wooden mannequin for half of it.
I know. I was jokingly saying that suddenly she's a real person, but now she's...
Really good joke. Anyway, he saves her life. And now she is alive. For some reason, you know what?
What?
Jonathan was the first person that the gods popped her into existence, into their life, and did something truly selfless, I guess, except for he wants her. It's not selfless. I'm saving the person I love.
My income depends on you.
He's heroic, and this brings her to actual life for some fucking reason.
It's very sweet. The gods work in mysterious ways, the ancient Egyptian gods. And then all the cops are like, I don't know, who do we shoot? Just shoot them all just to be safe. But then Estelle Getty shows up and she's like, wait a minute, I have a videotape. I installed a security camera system finally, and it shows that you people have been sneaking around my store and illegally spying on my employees. Arrest these men. And the cops are like, oh, okay, I guess. So... yeah. And then Jonathan is like, boss, you see everything on those tapes? And she's like, she's like, I saw everything I needed to. And he's like, everything? And she's like, everything.
Yeah, okay.
I saw you eating that mannequin's ass.
All right.
Yeah.
They're so easy to pose, though. You can get right to that anus. And then they get married, and Hollywood cries, and it's so sweet. And then they play the world's best song.
Which is?
No,
what is the name of the song?
Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, the Mannequin song. Open
By
parentheses,
whom?
the Mannequin song. Starship.
Okay. And it's nice. I'm very proud of you, love. All right, go ahead. Sing it.
Well, no, I want if you want it.
What if I put the character?
Nothing's gonna stop us now. That's all you get until we're alone.
Presumably, she has a social security number now.
Yeah, that all came into her purse whenever she was brought to life.
Yes. It is nice that, hey, you got to get married because the Christian God will frown on.
Right. It like they can't even like cohabitate an apartment and see what it's like whenever everyone can see her and she gets attention from other humans.
Ronald in Minneapolis likes weddings at the end of movies, so gotta
Ronald from Minneapolis.
You know, in our last episode, you were so resistant to giving me final thoughts. Are you familiar with, Laci, let me tell you how you tell people stuff. You tell them what you're going to tell them. Oh, you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them.
Are you mansplaining what you explained, and now you're explaining it in my face right now? Is that what you're doing?
It appears so. So what are your final thoughts on Mannequin?
Okay, well, I will say that 10 minutes into this movie, I was fucking devastated. I looked at you and I said, did I pick the first and only unwatchable movie of this entire podcast? Because it takes a fucking minute.
Parenthood.
But once it gets going, boy, it's cooking.
Goes hard.
I see why I liked it. I still like it. It's just relaxing. If I was hungover, I'd like to watch. There's no stakes. Everything turns out well. People really like each other. Bad guys are bad. Good guys are good. It's so uncomplicated. I love that. All the outfits. Stop it. So my final thought.
Star rating?
3.
3?
Yeah, I don't give 5s. Okay. There's 5 stars, and this one got all the way up to 3. Good for it.
I'm going to go with 2.25.
Oh my God.
I love that you love it. I love what a good time you
Thank you.
and the kid had watching
Kid
it.
did enjoy.
And I appreciate a lot about it. And I think that most of these actors do yeoman's work. They do a good job. I don't think this director maybe knows what he's doing and maybe should stick to video games and McDonald's commercials.
Jesus. Go back to flipping burgers.
And I certainly did not. I think Andrew McCarthy is a bad leading man for this material. You need a weirdo, or you just get John Cusack, who's like just weird enough.
Yeah, he's a little goth edge on him.
Little bit.
Because of that brunette hair.
So that's Mannequin. May the
Mannequin
gods of Egypt bless you and keep you. And hey, people, if you so please, we are on YouTube where we post our video episodes in full. So if you're listening, well, hey, if you're listening, give us 5 stars, please. We never ask that.
On Apple Podcasts, pretty please.
And I think Spotify, you can do that as well.
It makes a difference.
But if you're listening, you can watch this as well. If you're watching, you can listen. Load Bearing Beams Pod on YouTube. Hey, Laci's spinning a drumstick.
I know the thing.
Look at her go.
As soon as you gave it to me and I fucked it up.
Load Bearing Pod on Twitter. Load Bearing Beams on Instagram. Load.bearing.beams on TikTok.
Which brings me to this. Thank you for saying TikTok. That's the buzzword. That's when everyone goes, ah! Here's why. Because every week, starting 2 weeks ago, I say thank you to the very sweet, wonderful, knowledgeable community of Film Talk and the people who have welcomed us with open arms. And today I feature two women of the Film Talk. There's not a ton of us, and so I just wanted to point to 2 pages. They make a lot of content, and it's good and engaging. And their names are Laura Ann Reviews. Go follow her. Do it. And Jen Walks Into Walls. That's with the letter N and the number 2. You see this here? Okay. Anyway, go follow their pages.
Follow them. They are worth your time.
Indeed.
And then follow me on Letterboxd, Matt Stokes 9, to see what I watch. When I watch.
No.
That's
you eat louse while you wash it?
sometimes.
Matt, this is amazing. This music is. Where could they get it?
Thank you for asking. The music on Load Bearing Beams is by my band, Rural Route 9. Well, I should say the original music. There's some stock music also. But the big...
Not on the album.
No, not on the album. Like the synth music you heard in this episode.
Right.
My band didn't do that. But we do the song you're hearing now and a lot of the interstitials and the theme. Load Bearing Beams is our podcast. Rural Route 9 is the band.
Still is.
That I have. I played
Yes.
the guitar in that band.
And you play the Vokes.
Yep. And we have an album, The Joy of Averages, which you can listen to on Spotify, Apple Music, and everywhere else. Please check us out. Thank you so much. Love doing this podcast and playing my tunes.
Okay, I love you. Bye.
3, 4. Everybody, love bearing beams, love bearing